The black-eyed children is a urban legend that's been around for some time. Legend has it they are paranormal creatures that supposedly resemble children between the ages of 6 and 16, with pale skin and black eyes, who are seen hitchhiking or panhandling or at doorsteps of people's homes. Often they can be seen playing games or singing nursery rhymes. They are said to appear unusually confident yet shy children that avoid your gaze and look down, hiding their eyes, but speaking with a deep voice well beyond their age. They will usually try talking the victim into letting them come inside their vehicles or their house, to use a phone, or to be safe from some unspecified danger. And occasionally, when seen from a distance, they will stop their play and stare directly at you. But back to their request of coming inside your vehicle or home. Often people begin to accept their request against their better judgment, even though the request will seem unusually vague and unsettling without realizing why it is. Should you discover that their eyes are completely black, the children become very angry and insistent on you complying with their demands. Some people who have encountered the black-eyed children feel like the children may have been using some form of low-level mind control to get them to comply. After researching the internet, here is my top 3 black-eyed children stories. Number 3. So me and my girlfriend were walking around my neighborhood because we were really bored. And we passed this park in my neighborhood and we heard singing. So we looked over at the park and we see this little girl all alone sitting on a swing. She had long brown hair, a pink polka dot dress, and a red bow in her hair. We could not see her super well at first because the park wasn't super well lit. So we kept walking past the park because we felt overwhelming fear when we saw her without any cause. But as we were walking, still looking at her, she turned her head and stopped singing. She was singing Ring Around the Rosie, causing me and my friend to be scared even more. We started walking faster, but I felt drawn to her. Even though I had this overwhelming fear, I also felt like I should go to her, but I fought that feeling and kept walking. She then stood up from the swing and started walking. When she walked towards the street near us, she went underneath a street light, and then I saw it. I made clear eye contact with her and her eyes were jet black. She then started to run towards us, which only my friend noticed because I was caught up in her eyes. So my friend grabs my arm and says, "Run." So we start running as fast as we can down the street, and once we got to my porch and my mom came outside, we turned around and she was just gone. After that, I had sleep paralysis of her just standing in my room staring at me with her dark eyes. I had a dream about her and always felt some sort of presence around me, but I never actually saw her out there again. But anytime I'm outside at night, I always have a strong fear that she is watching me. Number 2. In 2009, I had my first encounter with a black-eyed child. Before my experience, I had never heard any of the urban legends that surround this story. I was 13. I was sitting outside a nail salon in an old Ford pickup truck waiting for my mother to get her nails done. About 15 minutes had passed and I saw some kid walking back and forth along the sidewalk in front of my truck. At first I thought I knew him from school, so I banged on the windshield until he looked my way. It was not anyone I knew. At this point, I'm not scared at all, really. Not yet. The boy walks over to the side of my truck and just stares. I think to let me get a good look at his eyes, to freak me out. And let me tell you, if you have never seen a black-eyed child before, you have no idea what to imagine. Pupils as black as the night sky. The boy whispers, "You got to let me in." So I proceeded and locked the truck doors and ducked down and hid in the space below the seats. 5 minutes later, he was gone. When my mother got into the car, she told me a boy with black eyes had come inside the nail salon and had insisted for her to give him the truck keys. Fortunately for me, she didn't give him the keys. Number 1. It's the night before Halloween. Me and my wife had just finished a movie in the living room. Rob Zombie's Halloween, to be exact, when we hear a faint knock on our side entrance door, ironically the one with no lighting to speak of. I can vaguely see through the peephole on the door that it's a female child, maybe 11 or 12 years old. She looked well dressed, maybe a little too well, weird even, like she was from the 1950s. But she had her head slouched over and I couldn't see her eyes at first. My wife, a little uneasy about the situation, given our side doors inside a locked gate with no entrance to speak of, and a child would not be able to get past any part of the gate, and our guard dog, who never made the first bark, which was unusual unto itself. I cracked the door and asked how I could help her. She pleaded for me to let her in to use the phone to call her parents, that she was lost. I'm starting now to have an eerie feeling myself and really don't know why. I told her I would hand her my cell phone and she could use it outside, but she grew even more demanding in her request to come inside my house. It's hard to explain because my body was like on autopilot after that. I was opening the door all the way, about to let her in, because how dangerous can a child be, right? And right before she came in, my wife slammed the door and it was like I snapped out of a trance. And then I looked back out the peephole and then I saw them perfectly. She was staring directly at me with the blackest eyes you could ever imagine. I told my wife to hurry and look, and when she did, the child was gone.